Okay, so the last section we're going to be speaking about are the concepts of proportion and scale. And fair warning, these are the two concepts that I find that students confuse the most, not only in this chapter, but in the class as a whole. So I can't caution you enough to make sure you've read your text regarding proportion and scale. And also, if you have questions, please reach out to me about them, because again, I find that this is an area that can be a bit of a spot of confusion for people. So starting with proportion, and again, you've seen Leonardo's Vitruvian Man before talking about symmetrical balance. Now, how does this relate to proportion? Proportion relates to size, but it relates to size in relationship to how do the components of an object fit together logically size-wise. So looking at this image, you'll notice the arms, let's say. Leonardo was saying that we are a symmetrical creature. We are well organized. We don't have one arm that's 5 feet long and one arm that's 2 feet long, right? Our arms are in proportion to one another. They match. So he would say that, we have the correct proportions in relationship to the size, the components of the object and their size. Now, this takes us to the other example, which is in your textbook, which is Orozco's La DS 1993. This is a French car called a Citroën. And what he does is he takes the car, notice he takes out some of the innards or the parts of the car, and he shrinks it down. And because of this, he alters the proportions of the car. They are now incorrect proportions. They are incorrect, right, to what a car should be proportionally. So you go back and you look at Leonardo, correct proportions, and you look at Orozco, incorrect proportions. Now this brings us to scale. And so people want to confuse proportion and scale. Scale deals with size, in a sense, in relation to the things around you, right? So this isn't about size of components as part of an object, but size of the things around you and how you relate to them. Here you're seeing hierarchy of scale. And this is used very frequently in Egyptian artwork, Mesopotamian artwork, early art, right? Art that shows up in my Art History 1 class. This is the Stele of Naram Sin. It's a Mesopotamian piece from the Akkadian culture. And when I show this to students, we talk about how Naram Sin, I'm sure you figured out who he is, but there he is, right? And here he is in the blow up detail. You'll notice that he is larger than the people around him. Why is he larger? He's using his scale to show what we call hierarchy. He is the top of the hierarchy of this culture. Same thing here if you look at this Egyptian burial painting, where you have the man largest, the wife, the woman next largest, and then the child between his legs least largest. So they're all showing their hierarchy through their scale or their size, right? In relationship to the other objects around them. Notice their bodies are proportional. Notice that, right? So that's one way to think about it. You can also look at like the Therion piece that shows up in your textbook under the table and think about scale. That this table, right, the people it's out of scale to the people. It doesn't, it's not the correct size to the things in its environment. And then finally, one of my favorite examples with this, which is Jeff Koons' puppy. Puppy is rather out of scale, right, to its surroundings. It's too big, right? So its scale has been compromised. However, if I ask you the question, is puppy in proportion? I hope you would say yes, because he is a proportional puppy. There's nothing wrong with him puppy-wise, right? All his little puppy paws are in proportion. Everything seems okay to me. So he is in proportion, but he's out of scale. So again, make sure you're thinking about these concepts regarding size, right? And not misunderstanding the terms and how they're equated.